What's going on, y'all? Another live stream today. Let me put this in the chat. Comment in neighborhood builder area. Address. For me to review. Alright. Here we go. Alright, so I'm going to go over maybe some comments that I got on the channel over maybe the past week. Let's see if anything else has kind of popped up with people asking things. Okay. So Cynthia Bailey, I answered this one. Cynthia Bailey says, are there, and this was a comment that was left on my Capitol Hill video with Cope Homes doing those 1 acre lots, so maybe some of you guys saw that. I posted that over the weekend. She asked, are there any new bigger lots from 70s to 1 acre communities in Salina coming soon? I believe J. Anthony has one coming soon, don't remember the name. I think that J. Anthony one is over by the cottages. Oh, my eye is itching crazy. Or the residences at Cottage Hill. Residencies. Hold on. Residences. Something like that. Let me see what that was. I wonder what, let me see. I'm just looking up J. Anthony. J. Anthony is a custom builder. J. Anthony, Salina, Texas. Homes by J. Anthony. Oh, here's front house. Let's see. And then I'll talk about the new stuff that's about to be released as well. Okay, this is J. Anthony's website. Let's see if they have something about their communities on here. They're more of a custom builder, so sometimes they don't have the best up-to-date. No. They don't have anything about communities, no? How it works, homes, what we do, gallery. Okay. Here we go. This is what she said. Rebud Gardens. Alright. Alright. Yeah, this was the neighborhood I was mentioning. Okay, this one's over by, this one's actually across the street from that other neighborhood I did, which was the Harper Estates. So Harper Estates is a little bit more, let me pop this up on the map actually. That way you can, okay, so this is 1 acre lots right now. Harper Estates, Salina, Texas. So I did a video over this neighborhood. Right now it's still, oh, that's not even the right, okay. That's not even the right thing. When you type in Harper Estates, that doesn't even take you to the right place. It's actually a little bit more north. There's a storage unit facility over here, and then there's kind of a cemetery that will pop up across the street from it. But this is where the Olivia Clark homes are going in, James Wyatt. And then up here is where the, residences. Yeah, this is the Cottage Hill. Yeah, this is another Olivia Clark 1 acre homes. And then this neighborhood down here is the J. Anthony. And then across is where they're building in more lots. Okay, Vishal says parks at Wilson Creek. What do you want to know about the parks at Wilson Creek? Because there's so many builders in there. There's so many different things. So do you just want to know generally about the parks at Wilson Creek, Vishal? But this is where Rebud Gardens is going to be. Okay, Forest and Plan versus the Pimp Shore. Alright, I'll talk about that here in a second. Let me just finish this thought because I know that there's some other people watching this that are interested in bigger lots, so I just want to mention this real quick. But I will get to that here in a second. Perfect. Okay, if you are looking for other 1 acre lots, just to let you know, this is where it's going to be located. Now, this is a little bit further off the beaten path of Salina, right? You're getting further away from Preston Road. You're getting further away from the Dallas North Tollway. You're kind of getting more in the middle of where 75 Highway and Preston Road 289 go up. So you're going to be a little bit further back in there. There's not going to be a bunch of commercial stuff around here, right? I mean, most of these 1 acre lots, it's going to that's going to be what you get. I do like where These homes though, where are they? What is this? Yeah, see, this is Highland Crossing, but you see how closer Highland Crossing with these 1 acre lots are to Preston Road? Like, in my opinion, I think that's, these homes are going to be up in the millions. Meanwhile, these homes down here that are a little bit more in and further away from Preston Road are going to be more expensive just because they're more south. But even though they're more south, they're more out towards the east, which will just be longer to travel out to things. So I still like, when people come in and they ask me 1 acre lots in Salina, I'm kind of telling them like, hey, you could do down here and you're kind of closer relatively like south to things, but you're really not that close because you're really not close to Preston Road. So if you just go up a little bit further to Highland Crossing, all those businesses and commercial things are going to be built up along Preston Road, so you'd be close to all that. It's just further north, so people are kind of think that it's too far away, but I honestly think that one's set up in a better area, even though it's further north. The other lots coming, so 74-foot lots with Highland Homes and Tradition Homes should be coming at the parks at Wilson Creek. Those are 74-foot lots. The next big ones are 65-foot lots that are coming to Perry Homes and American Legend at North Sky, but those aren't going to be 70-foot lots. So Cynthia was asking about sorry, I'm getting a text right now. She was asking about 74 and acre lots. That's all right now. That's kind of popping up. I'm sure more things will be coming. I mean, Cambridge Crossing has 74-foot lots coming in Q1 of 2025. Mustang Lakes has some bigger lots that are releasing right now, but they also have some new stuff coming in later on. So, but those homes are going to be 1.1 million in Mustang Lakes, or you could buy. So it's either like you buy a 76-foot lot in Mustang Lakes for $1.1 million, or you go up a little bit further north, actually into Salina and Salina ISD, and spend $1 million for an acre lot up there. That's kind of the difference on prices right now. Okay, I'm going to talk about the PIM Shore plan. Let's see, Forreston versus PIM Shore plan. I actually have a family building a PIM Shore plan right now, and it'll be closed, I think, within the next probably like 3 months. Probably 3 months out. They're about to put in the flooring and stuff. Let's go to Parks at Wilson Creek. David Weekly. Yeah, they're also coming to Mustang Lakes and releasing in there, or they're already at Mustang Lakes as well. So if you are one David Weekly, one Salina, they do have a couple options. Okay, so you want to see the Forreston versus the PIM Shore. I think the PIM Shore is just more popular because it's also the model home, so people can walk through it and kind of get a good idea on what it looks like. Okay, so this one has, they're both 1 story. Studies on the side. Now you could probably do a closed off study. I've seen that done before, which I would recommend. But they're putting the studies a little bit further back, which I like the studies at the front of the house, but even the PIM Shore plan, I think the study comes where this one is at too. Bedrooms over on this side, owner's bathroom, walk-in, entry. That's a pretty basic floor plan. Let's look at the PIM Shore. PIM Shore has 2 bedrooms at the front, 1 bedroom over to the side. Oh, what's going on, Brandon? Yep, I guess we're almost in the, I guess we're still in the morning, but it's 11:53 my time. I don't know. I think you live around here. It's still morning where I'm at. This one doesn't come with the tub. Yeah. So these just have showers. You could do like a super shower where you knock out this linen closet, but I think they were quoting that like $6,000, $6,000 or $8,000. The walk-in closet's going to be a little bit bigger on the PIM Shore too. And the family room kitchen, this dining family room area, I think is a little set up a little bit better. Like, it just makes it, how this kitchen is set up makes it feel way more open than how this one is set up. Okay? And I also like how the kitchen is over to the side of the house and not directly in the middle, just because your venting, your piping, everything is going to be really close to the exterior of the home when laying that out, instead of it being in the middle. Not that that's a huge make or break thing, but I also think you're going to be a little bit more space within the walk-in closet. It might be the same, it's just the walk-in closet's going to be so skinny, there might still be the same amount of rails within it, but I think you're just going to feel like this walk-in closet is a little bit bigger. I also like how this covered porch is better than how this one is, where it's a little bit more open. Yeah, your covered porch here is not, you're going to get more space on this one. You could extend it, I mean, you probably can extend both of them, but I think even just the standard, you're going to get a little bit more space, and a little bit more privacy. I don't know, sometimes when it's right on the front or on the back side like that, I don't, you know, you're already so close to your neighbors, it's like, I would like to kind of just be hidden back between walls. Like I said, if you guys have been watching my live streams for a long time, you know the covered porches I like the most are the ones that are kind of in the middle of this, when the dining gets pushed out and in between the owner's retreat. But sometimes these 50-foot lots don't do that, okay? But just because the living room is, you know, it'd be eating into the living room size, and the 1-story 50-foot lots aren't going to really do that. Now this home is sitting, I think this one that we're closing is sitting on like an oversized lot, but they're doing 50s within there at the Parks of Wilson Creek. But yeah, I like this one better. Now, what's the difference in price? $560, $569. Yeah, I think there's more value, even though it's $9,000 more on their base price. I think there's, you know, if there was a $30,000, $20,000 difference, I'd be like, okay, maybe I don't see the value in that. But just the difference of $9,000, I think there's way more value in that Pimshore plan than that Foreston plan, just from the standard. Brandon, how's your week been? Oh, week's been good. It was a little rainy over the past few days, so wasn't able to really get out much. Had some meetings at the beginning of the week, going under contract with the family hopefully over at Painted Tree with one home. So I had some meetings, but pretty easy week. How was your week? How was your week, Brandon? The rain kind of kept, we went from like 90 degrees and then we dropped to like 50, and it's still, honestly, the weather right now, how it is with the sun and it being like 60 degrees outside with a little bit of like a breeze to it. Yeah, storming pretty bad for you too. The weather right now, like today outside, is like my favorite weather. And then you can see down here, they have some quick movements coming in. So they have the Raddington, the Foreston, Pimshore, the Braes, the Walmsley. Hopefully I'm saying that right. That's a weird name. Did that kind of answer your question, Vishal? Are you looking in that neighborhood? Are you on a home search right now? I mean, I'm guessing you're on a home search if you're asking me these questions. Yeah, all the families that I moved in over like September, October, November, December, that have been living in their houses for like 8 months now. So they're finally about to experience what it's like to live in Texas, like June and July and August. So rip to them. Let's see. Michelle says, Highland Homes Denton plan in the same community. Yeah, I think I like the Pimshore plan better than the Denton plan. Yeah, Vishal. Oh, totally. We can negotiate with builders. I mean, if we're doing quick move-in, we can negotiate. Now, I do some negotiation with the builders on the lot premium, and some of the it really depends on when you're looking to buy. Like, sometimes these builders, I'll be trying to go under contract with a family like right at the end of the month, but sometimes they're still trying to work out the pre-approval, and then the builder's telling us like, hey, if we're going to go into our next month and we'll have price increases. Well, I try and negotiate something that if we don't get the pre-approval in time or things get delayed, you know, to at least honor that original pricing, because usually in these kind of higher demand neighborhoods, you see price increases from 5 to 15K. Not all the builders are doing it. David Weekley doesn't increase their prices as sharp as some of the, or as high as some of the other ones, or they're not as common to increase their prices as quickly as maybe Tradition Homes within that same neighborhood or Highland Homes, but sometimes they will do it. So that is a question to ask if you are trying to get the pre-approval and those things like that. But definitely reach out, Vishal, send me a text, and then let's get something narrowed down. Because the other thing too is that this neighborhood, okay, if you're looking at the parks at Wilson Creek, I think that you're going to be set up a lot better if you buy in this phase 1 than waiting till their phase 2. Because what's going to happen in their phase 2, this community is kind of like other communities and kind of not like other communities. So there's some communities where the builder is developing the land. Okay, the builder is actually developing the land and not having to sell, the builder isn't selling the lots back to the builder, right? But there's some communities like Parks at Wilson Creek where Cambridge, the developer, is going in and developing out the communities, and then they're selling those lots back to the builder, which is then, you know, going to go back in and be reflected in the prices. So every phase, the builder is just going to sell those lots more and more expensive to the builder, and then the builder is going to increase their prices on the new construction side of things. So they're wrapping up their phase 1. They actually should have been done with their phase 1, I feel like half a year ago, but things got so delayed with transformers and things like that that now they're going to be wrapping up phase 1 probably by the end of summer, beginning of fall into winter, depending on interest rates and demand and all that kind of stuff. But quarter 1 of 2025 is when this neighborhood, like Perry Homes, Tradition Homes, like those builders are telling me right now, even some of the Highland Home stuff, that they're going to be coming later on in 2025, and then that's going to show new prices. So if you get in now or relatively soon within this year, I think you're going to be sitting a lot better than waiting into the next phase. Now, you might be wanting to wait into the next phase because you want a certain facing lot, you want a certain floor plan, or you don't want to do a quick move-in home. But I am finding right now a lot more families are looking towards the quick move-in stuff rather than the new construction stuff. So I don't know if that's because families right now are trying to get a little bit more of a deal on the quick move-in things and want to just be moved into something rather than building from scratch and doing that. But I am working with a little bit more families doing the quick, but we're also in, you know, this April-May cycle of people coming in and wanting to buy homes. So that's just the normal real estate, you know, cycle of when the most homes go under contract is over these next few months. Even into June, kind of slows down once we get into August and September just because of school and everything. But I think that might also be the scenario right now. Even though some of these homes here, let's see, when did they're going to close? I don't know when they don't have what date, but these probably are a bit out. But yeah, look, they have the Pimp Short plan at 643, and then they have it starting at 569. So that's because probably it's going to be going into their next phase. So they probably have it priced out differently than the quick move-in stuff right now. The quick move-in stuff is probably cheaper just because it broke ground a while ago, and they've had price increases since then, since the point of where this probably was breaking ground on it. So okay, the Denton plan in this community, I don't think I like the Denton plan that much compared to this Pim Shore. I think I like the Pim Shore plan way better because you also get really high ceilings within the Pim Shore plan. Within the primary bedroom. Okay, let's look at the Denton plan. That's the Davenport, Ashwood. Okay, so what I like about the Denton plan is this outdoor living area. But what I didn't like about the Denton plan is this living room space within the Pim Shore plan is going to feel way more open and just bigger compared to this family room in here. The family room in here gets pretty small. I do like how the dining room's kind of moved away over there, and then you get the outdoor living that has the wall on the left and the right side of it. The suite also within the Denton plan is going to be smaller. It's very tight in here. The vanities are very close together. I do like how the study's at the front. That is nice. I would recommend that if you are doing the Denton plan and the home is, whether it's facing north, south, east, whatever the case is, you probably want to do glass on this front door, or some form of, not the whole door be glass, but like some form of glass on this front door, because this front entry is very dark. That's one of the things I did notice, is that this front entry is very dark. These hallway is pretty narrow with everything, but I would recommend doing some form of glass. The bedrooms are right next to each other. They share this bathroom out here. There's only one bathroom out there. Yeah, and see this Pinshore plan has, now you probably could add another bathroom with one of these, right? But this one already comes with the 2 bathrooms. I mean, you get 3 bathrooms actually. So this Denton plan is only going to come standard with 2 I mean, that's another thing. It's like I think I'd rather have that Pinshore plan once again. What was the price on this one? This one's starting at, yeah, but see, this one's starting at $592. But probably when you add those upgrades of maybe another bath, some things, you'll probably be sitting somewhere around the same as that Pinshore plan. Now, I do think the Highland Home build quality is a little bit above David Weekley, but even the David Weekley homes right now within there have been pretty solid from what I've seen. There have been some problems here and there, but the builder is pretty quick about fixing things. I've had no problem. Any of the builders within Parks of Wilson Creek, if a problem arose, it was handled and solved fairly quickly, or at least noted and was going to be fixed later on once things got a little bit further. Because like, you'll get broken glass or something, they'll install the glass, it'll be broke, but the builder ain't going to touch it till a lot, or there might be some cement issues or little corner pops or some things around the home on the foundation. Well, the builder is usually going to fix those things later on at the end, just so they can get it all done at one time rather than getting a contractor out there to fix one thing and then come back out another week, fix another thing. So they kind of sometimes wait till all the problems kind of come together. Now, if it's like a pipe busting or something, yeah, they're not going to wait on that. They're going to fix that really quick. Okay. Anyone else have any more questions about any other neighborhoods? Hopefully that answered your question, Vishal, but definitely send me here's my phone number. I'll put it in the chat right now, but definitely send me a text. I'd love to work with you if you on a home search right now in that neighborhood. I have a lot of families within that neighborhood too, so you might actually be buying right next to another buyer of mine. Okay. What else? I guess we'll go back to the comment section unless someone leaves another. Alright, awesome, Vishal. I will talk with you soon. Okay, I want to go back to the comments on my YouTube, see if yeah, so I answered Cynthia. Cynthia, if you're coming to watch, if you're in this live stream right now, I think I've seen your name sometimes pop up in here, but if you're coming later on to watch this video, definitely send me a text, and that'd be an easier way for me to follow up with you when I have more stuff get released if you're looking for 74-foot lots too, because there's going to be a couple communities that are going to be bringing those 74-foot lots. Also on that video with the Capitol Hill Cope homes, and that video that I'm talking about is, let's see, can I just go to YouTube? Actually, let's just go to the Capitol Hill. Okay. Oh look, I'm already popping up. That's pretty cool. And that's my other video there too. Nice. Love to see it. Okay. Let's just click on here. Now, it says on their website, like, right when you click it, it says Van Alstyne, but the actual, like, area is, like, everything addressed is Anna. And the tax rate in there is 1.7. So, this was the neighborhood I just recently did a tour over. Someone left a comment also on this one and said, be careful with Cope. Build quality is questionable and get everything in writing. Well, yeah, I mean, I think if you're doing new construction, I think, yeah, you want to get everything in writing. I don't really know what you're doing not getting it in writing and just letting things slide without getting it in writing, so that doesn't make much sense to me. But this person left that comment. I then replied with, thanks, Alex, for leaving a comment. I feel like I get this type of comment with all the builders. Literally all the builders, even like Highland Homes. I will get this with every single person. I think actually Tradition Homes I've never gotten it, but I've gotten it with the Highland Home. I've gotten it with Taylor Morrison, David Weekley. I mean, almost. I feel like I get a good amount of not a good amount. I get some comments. I've just noticed them where people come in and they'll leave their kind of opinion about the builder. Or I got one about Wyatt James. I think I talked about that one a few weeks ago on a live stream. So I replied back, I feel like I get this type of comment with all the builders. I think it comes down to making sure you are walking your build and doing third-party inspections and building a good relationship with the superintendent, building the home itself to get the best experience. I'm actually surprised when I talk to people and they don't even realize they could do a third-party inspection on the build because the builder told them that the city is inspecting everything and making sure the home is good. So I'll have people that I'm working with, right, initially when we're going under contract and the builder is explaining the process with everything, the builder will say something to the effect of, yeah, and the city's going to come in here and they're going to inspect everything, and we'll keep you updated when the inspector comes in, and they're going to check off and make sure everything's good on the home, and then we'll let you know what comes back bad or good on the home, or what needs to be fixed and what the city inspector came in and saw. However, I will also then recommend to my families, okay, yes, the city inspector is great, but also do the third party, because on all of my, even the best of the best builders, and I'll just say like best of the best as in most reputable builders, because most of these people are using the same contractors, or they're using the same products, or they're not really, unless you're going like fully custom with the house, they're usually all using kind of the same types of things, but all of them have come back with some type of problems on the third-party inspection. And I'll tell a family, hey, we can do a third-party inspection on this, and they'll be like, whoa, oh, I didn't know we could do that. The builder told me that the city was inspecting it and they were going to sign off on things if they were good or not. Well, yeah, the city inspector is trying to run through homes and get things signed off and done. Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things where, I think it's all about setting expectations right at the beginning, figuring out what your superintendent's experience is, and creating a relationship with them. Because I'm telling you right now, if you're nice with that builder and because there's going to be problems, okay? It's how you then react to those problems that pop up with how then you're going to be treated. Because I can tell you right now, if you, I've never run into a situation so far where a builder hasn't, and I haven't had any families have a really bad experience with things. I mean, I had a Highland home that when they did the water pressure test, it was on a 40-foot lot, the pipe cracked in the primary bathroom, right? And they had to redo the sheathing on the outside. They had to fan everything out. It wasn't like a huge detrimental thing. The house isn't going to blow up, and any safety concerns or hazard concerns. But you'll see this on all the builds. Now, my buyer wasn't like, what the hell's going on here, guy, blah, 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 right? They were just like, okay, keep me updated. They went out and checked it. Everything is, pictures are being sent over. And that's the other thing. If your builder isn't sending you update photos, or you're not, that's the other thing is like, keep up to date with your builder and them sending you photos. Because, you just want to kind of keep track of things, right? Because you want to go in there and take your own photos, but get the builder to send you photos as well as when things are going to get fixed or after they've gotten fixed. Because then if something else happens in the future, you're then able to go back on those photos and kind of look at those things and see if something was different, or if they're not telling you the truth or something like that. So, but yeah, that person left it about Cope Homes. So that was a comment there, but I feel like it's all about, I feel like with every builder, they have some type of problem with the person. So I think it just comes down to having a good relationship with that superintendent and walking your build and checking on it, and then and then also working with an agent. That way, I'm able to see what's standard and what's not correct, or I can take things that have happened from other builds and apply them to new builds that go under contract, and letting a family know as what's standard. Because the builder is going to tell you whatever they're going to tell you, right? The builders don't know what the other builders are doing, but someone like a real estate agent is going to know, if they're closing on multiple different builders and new construction within different neighborhoods. I'll have a pretty good idea on what's standard and what should be fixed and what shouldn't be fixed, or the normal problems that arise with new construction, right? Okay, I had another reply on Mustang Lakes. Zodiac 08 says, any equity growth left since they're in their later phases. This comment was left on Mustang Lakes. So let me just go to Mustang Lakes. Highland Homes. Okay. So the 100-foot lots in there, okay, they're probably gonna be ending here soon. I think the other lot sizes in there. Should have a little bit of room to run, or at least some margin of equity to hopefully be gained. But I mean, there's still situations where I'm finding a home that's 2 years old, 1 year old, getting relisted right now, and that family is not breaking even. And here's the thing. Once everything gets built out around that Prosper Salina area for the most part, okay, I think that's when you're going to see more equity come into those houses later on. I think right now, if you're buying a house, you're going to need to be in it for at least 3 years to really see that true gain of equity, to feel it. 3 to 4 years, because I think right now, like if you would have bought the house in 2022 and you're now relisting in 2024, I'd be very surprised if maybe you can come out on top, but you're probably just breaking even or a little bit under on it. So, and that's solely because there's just so much new construction happening that the pre-owned people are having to compete with the new construction. And at the end of the day, I have seen families looking at $650,000 houses to not want, like, pre-owned, looking at $650,000 houses pre-owned, to then flipping to new construction and spending an extra $50,000 to $100,000. I mean, literally going from looking at pre-owned houses at $650,000 to then just going all the way up to new construction at $750,000. So I think right now there's still a ton of listings that are pre-owned that are still having to compete with the new construction, and at the end of the day, a buyer is gonna go with the new 9 times out of 10, the buyer is gonna end up going with the new construction, even if it is a little bit further north. So that's the thing right now. I think, like, in some of these areas, you're not going to see the equity gain for some time. I think at the end of the day, you got to be in the house for at least minimum 2 years, because the commission that you're going to give to an agent is probably just going to take away that equity gain that you had on the house. So you're going to need to be in it for at least some time, because the normal, like, stock market usually brings, like, I think 6 to 8% is, like, maybe up to 9% maybe, but, like, in between 6 to 8% is what the stock market returns are, and then real estate is typically half of that. Now, it hasn't been over 2020 and 2021 because of all this stuff going on in the world, but typically you're seeing that type of 2 to 4% on equity gains per year with real estate. The other thing too is I think there's other neighborhoods as well over in Salina, because he asked, like, is there still, like, equity growth? I think if you're trying to look for the equity, you really got to pick a neighborhood that's in its phase 1. Like, that's where I find the best equity being gained within the houses. Even at the beginning of phase 1, the difference between the beginning of phase 1 and at the end of phase 1 with some of these builders is pretty dramatic with the price increases. So I think that's where you really got to go. All right, Shripad says Perry Homes, Cambridge Crossing 2504 design. Okay, let's look at this one. So this is Perry Homes, Cambridge Crossing 2504 W. Let's look at this one. Oh man, I was really hoping one of my videos was gonna pop up on here. Dang it! Dang it, Daniel! I've done a Perry Home. Oh, come on. Okay. Alright, let's look at this one. Perry Homes 2504 plan. Is this it? 2504. Here we go. $60,000. Alright, let's see what we got working here. Okay. I think I have a video over this. Yeah. Shripad, have you been onto my Salina playlist? I think I have a video over this floor plan. The entryway ceilings on this one are pretty good. I like how the kitchen is kind of over to the side. Now the dining and the family room are gonna feel like one thing. Let me see what their other floor plans are. I don't even think this is their best floor plan. I don't think this is my favorite one-story floor plan that they have over there. Let me go back. Let me figure out my favorite one. I don't think that's my favorite one. Okay, hold on. Filter by available to build. Okay, let's go to... Okay, that's a 2504. Let me just open these other ones that are one stories that are kind of close to this same price. Okay, and we'll compare all of these to the 2504, or yeah, 2504. All right, let's look at this one. So this is the 2476. This is $9,000 more. About the same size, but you get a little bit higher ceilings. Family room is still set up the same way. Primary bedroom, relatively the same. 2 bedrooms over there. Bathroom, 3-car garage. You could do the optional home office, but I would do the home office at the bedroom here. But then that's taking away a bedroom. I'd rather have 3 bedrooms. Utility closets all the way at the front. I'm not a fan of that. Okay. This one is the 2513. Game room at the... Oh, maybe it was the 251... Okay, I think it was the 2513 I did a video over, but I like how this one is because it's a primary bath. You get a little bit bigger primary bedroom by a foot, but it is a little bit bigger. Closet, but it goes into the utility. You have another linen closet. You got another bedroom there. 12-foot entry ceiling. Game room. This front game room could be an office space, so I think that's fine. And the windows really brought in some good natural light on the sides of them. Bedroom 2 has its own bathroom with it, so I like this 2513 plan on what I'm seeing here so far. This one's all a little bit smaller. That game room, I don't like this one. And this is the, okay, and then we're back to the 2504. Yeah, so those all look similar, but see how this utility room doesn't go in with that utility room, or that closet? I mean, you probably could open it up and do that. But yeah, I think I like this 2513 plan better. Yeah, final answer, 2513. That's my favorite one. So Shripad, if you're looking at all three of those, or you're kind of just going between two, I think I like this one the best. What is the best negotiation we could do with Perry? Well, I don't know what, I don't even know how to correctly answer that question. What do you mean, what's the best negotiation? I mean, first of all, what incentives are they offering? How much inventory are they sitting on? What's the recent closed in that neighborhood? You know, all these types of things are going to go into the negotiation, you know, so I think that all depends, right? So whatever real estate agent you're working with, I mean, I'd have them get those answers for you, or at least reach out to the builder and try to get those answers, because that's going to play into your negotiation. Also, is it a quick move-in? Is it a build from scratch? Because if it's a build from scratch, you're not really, like, I've been able to negotiate lot premiums and some other things, but for the most part, they're not going to really negotiate on the build from scratch. They could, but I usually see that more on the quick move-ins, and then that just depends on how much inventory they're sitting on, and you know, kind of the deal with that. So, is it worth the money? I don't know. I have no idea if it's worth the money. I don't know what the lot. I mean, what's the lot that you're choosing? Is it backed up? I mean, this also depends on where the lot is in the neighborhood. Is it backed up to a busy street? Is it within a cul-de-sac? You know, all of these things an appraiser uses to also, you know, put value to your home, right? Like if your house is in a cul-de-sac, it's going to be worth, or in the view of an appraiser, it's going to be worth more than maybe just a random interior lot. So I think that also plays into it as well. So there's a few things there, Shripad. I don't really know what the best negotiation, the best negotiate, I mean, if you were to ask me when do I usually see the best times to negotiate, is going to be November, December. That's when I see the best deals happening. during April and May, the builders know that this is like usually the busy season, so you're not typically getting the best deals. But then again, this also depends on interest rates. Interest rates have gotten up to 7.5% on the 30-year fixed, so yeah. But we're not going to see the effects, even though the interest rates raised over this previous week really high. We're not actually going to see the effects of the market until maybe towards the end of this month, because all the homes that are closing right now, and I have listings that are under contract with interest rates at 6.9 and locked in. So all those homes are going to close, at the beginning of May, and then actually more towards the middle end of May is how we're going to see the effects of this super high spike. So May is when you should be looking at inventory levels, I think. I mean, you can start to see inventory levels right now kind of rising in some places. And there are areas where there's price decreases, but then I also run into areas where there's multiple offers and you're having to go over asking, and whether or not you're willing to do that. I guess it just comes down to if you really like the house or not. Okay, so let's look at this one, 1945 Halkin Road. This is under construction. This one, 1945 Halkin Road. Oh, they're both 250. Shri Chandana says, hey, I have a question. So I'm looking at homes. I have no preference in 1-story or 2-story, but I'm confused of what gives more returns down the line and which would sell out fast. So I think at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with a 2-story home that has high ceilings within the living room and even, windows that go above. Like, I would say the number one layout I see with like the best, the homes that, when they get, even pre-owned homes, when they get listed and they go on the market and they have multiple offers, or they have, they're under contract within a reasonable amount of time, it is the 2-story homes with, of course, the primary bedroom on the first floor, okay, it having a tub in the primary bathroom. I do think that is important. I do see families not doing it or builders not adding it, but I do think that is one thing that could be a make or break thing. High ceilings within the living room. The high ceilings don't need to be in the kitchen. They don't need to be in the dining room, right? You can have your standard 10 to 12 foot within there. I mean, 12 foot is a little less standard. The higher end builders, traditional homes, they'll do 12 foot ceilings in the kitchen, which is awesome, but standard is about 10 to 11 foot within the kitchen. But you don't need to really have high ceilings in there, but I would say the high ceilings within the living room, okay? Having another bedroom downstairs. So if you're doing a second story, I wouldn't do 1 primary down and 3 up. I do 2 down, and then having that second bedroom on the first floor be a walk-in shower. Okay, what else? Primary closet I think is a very important thing too, so I would check the size of the primary closet and how many off-season racks that they're putting in there, and trying to get the builder to put the most amount of closet rods within that home. On the primary closet, if it is a little bit smaller, that way you can go vertical and hang up things. What else? I mean, at the end of the day, the 2-story homes are what's that hold a good amount of value and resell the quickest. A 1-story home on a 60-foot lot is going to do better than a 2-story home 40-foot lot, though. So I think Sri Chandana, I think also the important thing to look at here is what's your lot size that you're going to be looking at, because I will say that the resale on the 55s and up is going to be a lot better if we do get into a market where, it's a lot more sellers and less buyers. I think if you're on a 50-foot lot or bigger, I think that's also a good resale factor as well. All right, let me get back to this 1945 one. So yeah, this is the 2504. So like I said, this isn't the plan I dislike the most, but it isn't my most favorite plan, but I think this plan is okay. If they're just sitting on 2 inventory homes right now, so they're just sitting on 2 inventory homes. All right, now let's look at, this is June and December move-in, so this is June time frame. Now I'm gonna go on to the MLS Shripad, and we're gonna go to Salina, and I'm gonna look at what is currently getting closed within that neighborhood or pending. And then this will tell me if what they will probably be willing to come off, or what you should be willing, or not going over and not paying over at the end of the day too. Okay, so there are, this one's 2504 square feet, right? So this one's at right, so this one closed at, alright, hold on. But this looks like a Union main home, so I also gotta find, yeah, that's a Union main home. Or maybe that's a Highland home. No, I think that's a Union main home. Nope, this is a Perry home. Yep, so this is a Perry home. Okay, I believe so. Yep, so this is a Perry home. This one was a 2021, and it is a 4-bed, 3-bath, 2,535 square feet, closed at $600. It was listed at $640,000. It closed at $640,000 at $252 per square foot. So we have closings in here at $252 per square foot. So this per square footage on this one is, and it looks like they knocked the price down from $646, so that totally makes sense to me why they're doing that, because there's other comps in this neighborhood that are showing, divided by 2504, that gives you $255 per square foot. So you're not too far off, but it would make more sense to, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's smaller square footage. Usually the smaller square footage is going to have a higher price per square foot, but you don't want that price per square foot to be dramatically different. I think within a range of $1 to $3 is somewhat reasonable, especially on comparing a new construction home to a 2021, right? So this one's sitting at $639. I mean, that price kind of makes sense in some aspects. Let's see what else. There's some more that are pending at $649, $674. But the good thing here, now let me go, that was 90 days. So let me do 180 days. And I know you guys can't see this, but I can't really show the MLS on the screen here. I kind of have to keep it private. Okay, so past 180 days, let's see. Yeah, let me just figure out what's the cheapest home that's closed in the past 180 days for 50-foot lots. So we've got one at 551. Those are 40s. 2504. That one's at 590. 2504. 2504. See, and now I like going back 190 days is what I'll start with, but I really like doing 180 days because that's usually what the appraiser is going to pull from. I mean, they'll pull back further too, but I think 180 days kind of gives you a good idea. So I just came across one house. It is a new construction. It's a 250 plan. It was listed at $638. Okay, but this was back in November, so that's a different time then. So that's a little bit too far back. But that home here, I'll pull this one up on hopefully Redfin or something will pop up. Okay, so check out this house. Now this was back in November, so this isn't quite perfect. Okay, this is the home here. So this one was listed at $638. They dropped it to $599. The seller did $5,400. So the seller did $5,400 back in closing. And this is the other thing why working with an agent is probably beneficial for you guys, because I can look. Not only can I look at closings, okay, right, and seeing what they closed for and when they changed prices and the history of it, whatnot, but I can also see what the seller put towards concessions, which tells me what else we could put into the negotiation of the deal. So this one shows that the seller, which would be Perry Homes, paid $5,400 in closing, and they came off another $9,000. Okay, so my guess is probably this family, because that's probably around $15,000, which probably tells me this family probably used the $5,400 towards buy down or closing cost, and then used that other $10,000 for the actual off the price of the house. Does So that's my guess on how. Usually 15K is what these builders are giving you, and they're giving you the option on if you want to take that fully towards closing, or put it towards the buy down, or use it towards the price, or do half and half. You know, they'll just say, we're giving you 15K, do what you want with it. Yeah, but this one actually closed at 590, but this one closed back in November, so that doesn't tell me like perfectly, but it does tell me that probably where this one's listed at, my guess is you probably could come off another 15 off this price. But it honestly probably would be 10 off the actual price, and then the rest of that negotiation factor of that money would be handled at closing or on the buy down. Okay, you want to see the lot location within the community. Is it going to show up on the map? Because I don't think they have a plat map on their website. Is it this one? It's gotta be this one. Okay, so the thing with this, all right, is now we would need to see who owns the land right here. Okay, so let's go look at who owns the land, and this will tell me whether or not this is a good idea or not a good idea. Let's see who owns the land behind. Palatial? I don't even know what that is. Palatial? I've never heard of that. Let's look this up. Palatial, Salina, Texas? Yeah, I'm not sure what I don't even know if I'm saying their thing right. Let's see, Palatial developer. Palatial. Yeah, I'm not sure who. I'm not sure who this is that owns the land behind. So that would be the one thing that I'd be worried about. Okay, sometimes I know who's behind. Let's see, this is a website with Palatial, but I don't know. I don't have a website or anything. But this is, I don't even know if this is who owns the land, but that's what it pops up on the MLS on who owns the land behind there. So that's the only thing I'd be worried about, is what is coming on the back side of this home. You're kind of taking a gamble with that, because at the end of the day, this could turn into an apartment complex. I don't know. This would be something to ask the builder if they know what's going to be happening. Now, Cambridge Crossing is going more north, but it is stopping about right there. So, within the neighborhood, oh shoot, hold on. Let's see who owns more of this land. Legacy Point, Salina ISDs across the neighborhood. I just don't know who owns. I just don't know who Palatial is. So that would be the only risk you're taking with that. It was last sold in 2009. So not too sure. I mean, there is a good bit of land there to where that could be an apartment complex or development like that. Now, it could be a park at the end of the day, which would be fine, but yeah, I'd be worried about that and what's going to be on the back side of the house. So I think you're kind of taking a risk there, but then again, that's kind of what happens with new construction on some of these things. But definitely something to think about. I mean, that being said too, I'm not the biggest fan of east-facing houses, just because if you want to sit out on your patio, right, and enjoy the weather, in the summer you're just going to be on fire. So I usually like west facing homes or south facing. I mean, north facing homes are great because you're going to get a lot of light on the backside of your house, but I mean, an east facing home, I mean, your patio is going to be cooking. All right, anyone have Sri Chandana? Did I answer your question? Was that okay? I'm not sure what you meant by which would sell out fast. Yeah, I mean, that makes more sense that they're offering at 627, 15K incentives. That, from what I've seen on the closings, that seems fair. Yeah, especially if it's going to be closing in a little bit later in the month, or I guess later on in the summer. That seems reasonable. Okay, anyone else have any other questions? Shripad, are you working with an agent right now? Or are you going solo dolo? Okay. No one else got questions? Okay, cool. Yeah, Sripat, well, yeah. Hopefully that answered some of your questions that you had. Well, we're an hour into this live stream. I think that's where, unless someone else has got questions. Oh, here we go. Sri Chandana, can I also... Okay, Sri Chandana, can I also know which community would be better if we're planning to buy a home this year within Salina ISD? Parks at Wilson Creek or Cambridge Crossing? Do you suggest anything else? Shripad, how would you compare Cambridge Crossing versus... I mean, you guys literally are asking me the same question at the same time, which is so funny. So I'm going to say, I mean, I like Parks at Wilson Creek at the end of the day. Both are going to have, like, a high HOA. Both are going to have a PID. Both are being developed out by the same developer, too. But I kind of like where Parks at Wilson Creek is because it's going to be down the street from the Costco, not too far away from the H-E-B and some of the other commercial things around there. I find that if you're living over at Cambridge Crossing, you're going to be more going towards Preston rather than just already living off Preston over at the Parks at Wilson Creek. I also think Parks at Wilson Creek is going to bring better amenities. Now they're both going to have on-site schools, but you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that on-site school at Parks at Wilson Creek. I think that's going to come later on in 2020, end of 2025, 2026. But yeah, I like the Parks at Wilson Creek. Do I suggest anything else? Well, are you just talking about Salina? I mean, really, if you're looking at Salina, I also like North Sky, and you could be on a 65-foot lot in there at one of the cheapest prices. So I definitely would look at North Sky too, but I think the PID in there is going to be more expensive than... The homes are cheaper, but the PID's more expensive, I think, than the Parks at Wilson Creek. But that North Sky neighborhood is going to be relatively close to when the Dallas North Tollway gets built out there, and also the also off Preston Road, and then it's also going to be next to the Legacy Hills development too. I mean, I like the Parks at Wilson Creek better than Cambridge Crossing, but I know that there's some people that like Cambridge Crossing over the Parks at Wilson Creek, so I guess it kind of just depends. Well, Shripad, why wouldn't you? I don't understand why, even if you want to reach out to an agent, why wouldn't you still reach out to that agent because they could help you with closing costs, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're gonna go solo, you might as well still bring in an agent or whoever you're gonna or whoever you're working with or because they could help you on the closing costs. 100%. Oh, Shripad, thank you. Daniel, you are the best. Thank you. Of course, man. No, thank you for watching and tuning in today. Sri Chandana, is there any like specific builders you were looking at the parks at Wilson Creek? Sorry if I'm like looking this way. I want to look at the camera and like talk to you guys, but I'm looking at my other screen with where I have the questions coming in. So sorry if I'm always just looking this way. All right, so I think I'm gonna do one more live stream next Sunday, and then after that on not May 1st because I'm busy May 1st. May 8th. Well, I'm gonna be. No, I'll be. Okay, I got a closing on May 8th, but the late afternoon. I'm sorry doing that. Okay, parks I'm interested in: Highland versus David Weekley. So David Weekley, I think, is the best. I'm going to use the word low quality, but I don't want you to already kind of think like this is going to be a terrible builder. But I think they are the best budget, lower quality builder out of all the other builders. So like when you're comparing a David Weekley to a Highland, if you're comparing the David Weekley to any of the other builders in there, it is going to be on the lower end. However, David Weekley is more geared towards kind of more a budget-friendly side of things, and they've been in business for a very long time. I mean, they're one of the oldest people around Dallas that has been building homes around, and I think David Weekley is on the higher quality side when you compare it to the other budget-friendly builders. And you might ask, okay, Daniel, well, what are those other budget-friendly builders? Well, those are Taylor Morrison, Pulte, K.Hovnanian, Pace Setter. What else we got? Let's see what else we got. I mean, those are the only ones that are kind of coming to my head right now that are building over in that area as well. But I think David Weekley is on like the higher side of those, but they're not. Just know that the difference. Now, the build on the inside, the David Weekley homes I've been inspecting with under contract have been great. They've had some problems with maybe some of the doors are chipped here and there, or just little minor issues, right? Nothing that's serious of a safety or hazard or structure concern that needs to be ripped down and totally replaced, and something is happening, the way it shouldn't be. But I do find that you're going to see a little bit higher quality with the Highland Home stuff, okay? And when I say higher quality, I mean they kind of do a little bit more overkill in the houses when it comes to making the house a little bit more airtight and efficient, with like the studs and the windows, and kind of putting the I don't know, I just see Highland Home go a little bit more overkill on some of the things that they do compared to some of the other builders. David Weekley has still been doing a great job. I do find that I like some of the other David Weekley floor plans and some of the I like the one-story David Weekley floor plans better than I like some of the one-story Highland Home floor plans. But the two-story floor plans with the Highland Homes I think are better than the two-story David Weekley homes. So I think that also depends on which you're kind of going after. Are you working with an agent, Sri Chandana? Guys, I've had a blood blister on my finger. It's finally, we're at like a, I don't know, is this a waxing gibbous? It's almost coming off my, it's like just a little bit, or is that a waning? Is that a waning or a waxing gibbous? I don't remember my moon cycles. It was at a full moon. This thing has taken like 3 weeks to heal. It's because of golfing. I literally have the softest hands. I went golfing. I didn't even I might have hit like 40 balls, and my hands were just all ripped up, and it's taken forever for this blister to heal. I'm such a soft little boy. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I gotta get out there more. I'm terrible. I'm atrocious at golf. Okay, got it. How would you rate the builders and parks at Wilson Creek in terms of... Okay, so how would I rate them? I would rate... Oh, first of all, I love the developer Cambridge because all the builders that Cambridge uses in their developments are good builders. Okay, so let's just start there. From there, what I would pick is if you had a... Right, if you just take all the builders that are at Parks at Wilson Creek, you take Highland Homes Tradition, David Weekley, is that it? And Perry. I would put Tradition, I would go Tradition, Highland, Perry, David Weekley. That's the order of like what floor plans I like the most, the build quality, the design upgrades, all those types of things. But a lot of people are priced out of the Tradition homes and even priced out of some of the Perry home stuff because those are 60-foot lots. And Perry Homes isn't going to be releasing new stuff till Q1 of 2025 or maybe more towards the Q2. But yeah, that's how I would rate those. However, and I'll say this again, right now, I like American Legend and how they're building houses right now. I mean, those homes are very solid, okay? They are pricey, but man, an American Legend home on like the inspection reports and everything, I mean, they are great. It's actually quite refreshing to see that within a builder too. Because I think at the end of the day, I think a lot of builders just get bad. I don't know what it's. Do people have harsher feelings towards builders or real estate agents? Because over this past 6 months with these NAR lawsuits and all this stuff, man, people really do not like real estate agents. Like they do. I mean, here's another question. Okay, what's worse, a car salesman or a real estate agent? Because I feel like right now the sentiment towards real estate agents is really not good. And I don't know if people hate builders more than real estate agents, but I also find that people just don't like builders as well. But I think it all comes down to the experience and the setting expectations and just being honest and truthful with people as well. And you know, there's people that come in, they ask me questions, I think part of me is, I think one part of my business that kind of hurts me sometimes with getting clients is maybe sometimes I'm a bit too honest and maybe say things that some people just don't want to hear because they want to afford this house and maybe I'm just a little too honest. I think that's part of I think that's also why people like watching my videos too, so I don't want to get away from that, but I find that sometimes I run into some situation, and you know what, not everyone's for me, and I'm not for everyone. I'm like ketchup, you know? Like, you know, some people will put ketchup on their egg sandwich, and some people won't. I put ketchup on my eggs. My girlfriend thinks that is absolutely insane, but that's what I like. Car salesmen are the worst. Okay, well, it's good to know, Sharif, that at least car salesmen are still rated below us. Alright, if no one... Okay, we're going... Last round of questions here. You got 1 more minute to put in your last round of questions, and that's where I'm going to end today's live stream. I feel like this was somewhat productive today. Hopefully this answered some things. I know that I'm typically talking about the same... I mean, my live streams, maybe sometimes they become a little bit repetitive, but I definitely think that majority of the time I'm getting the same things and it's repetitive just because I'm making the videos around these areas and I just have an audience kind of tailored to asking me questions, right? I don't have people coming in and asking me about Midlothian because I ain't going to Midlothian to make videos. So, alright, Dan said, here we go, last question here from Dan. Lovely. Shout out to the Dans in the world. Dan says, do you think buying in the new Fields development is worth the cost of the homes? I can't justify it. I don't know. Anytime I have someone call me about the Fields of Frisco, you know, I'm always like, do you need to be in Frisco? Like, do you have to be in Frisco? Because if you just go 15 more minutes north, you will be on a 65 foot lot with an amazing builder up there too in an awesome community. So it's like, do you need to be in Frisco? Like, do you have to? Because personally right now, I can't justify some of those houses, especially when they are building a Huntington home, $2.2 million right next to a Olivia Clark duplex. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me why you're putting a huge custom home right next to a duplex on the side of it. I don't understand that. Like, right now, it might be aesthetically pleasing on how they're doing all the elevations and things like that, but I know in 10 years from now, it ain't gonna be a good look when a buyer's coming in buying a 2.3 million whatever home and it's right next to a duplex. Makes no sense to me. So hopefully that answered your question, Dan. All right, guys, that's where we're going to end today's live stream. Join me next Sunday. Hopefully, looking at the 28th, should be able to do that. All right. Street Pet, Sandbrook Ranch. The only thing I like about Sandbrook Ranch is that there's not a bunch of renters in that community, so it is more geared towards families in there. But I don't like the location. I think I don't even think those two neighborhoods are comparable at the end of the day. So unless you're really trying to save a lot more money, yeah, Sandbrook Ranch is probably gonna be a little bit more budget friendly. But Parks at Wilson Creek is gonna hold way more value with, especially when they put in the 100-acre park on the north. I mean, I could go on and on with the Parks at Wilson Creek. What's going to happen is you're going to see the same type of thing that happened with Mustang Lakes and it being so expensive within Mustang Lakes. The same thing is going to happen at the Parks at Wilson Creek, and it's going to come to a point where people are going to get priced out. People are going to be able to afford the Parks at Wilson Creek right now, but they're going to wait too long, and it's going to become like Mustang Lakes where a lot of people are priced out of it. There's still people buying houses in there, but not a lot of people because it's gotten so expensive. But yeah, Parks at Wilson Creek is, I honestly think that is the next best neighborhood to invest in right now, or buy in, or whatever the case may be. I think that neighborhood is bar none compared to any other ones. Okay. Once again, I'm ending it. All right, no more questions, guys. Please do not send in another question. I'm not going to answer it. All right, I will see you guys next Sunday. Thank you to everyone that joined today. And if you're coming back to this video later on and you do have a question, just throw it in the comments. And I'll be happy to talk about it next Sunday on the live stream. So I'll see you guys later. Good luck on all of y'all's home searches.